as director of Open, I used to be the person promoting interest in psychedelic research and therapies, and now I find myself in a position of being somebody promoting more caution. And I still think that psychedelics have huge potential, but I think it's good to counterbalance this message a little bit and to have a proper balance between hype and hope, because there are many desperate patients out there, as you know. Between a quarter and a third of patients with mental disorders do not respond to conventional treatments. So there is a huge need for better, more effective treatments. But it's also, I think, very important to remember that these are not magic bullets. And there are interests, and you can see this in how psychedelics are being communicated about. They are not magic bullets, and they're, in fact, when you ask patients, hard work. And it's hard work. People have challenging experiences, and these are vulnerable patients for the most part. And these experiences can be powerful, but also potentially destabilizing. And I think what is important to emphasize here, and that's something that relates to what Hilke just shared, is that these are not typical pharmaceutical drugs. I think it's the experience that's central. And this means that people guiding patients through these experiences need to be properly trained, and you need a background in mental health. You need to be mental health professionals, but you do also need additional training. And on top of that, these are not, when you talk about reductions in anxiety and depression, it's hard to forget that as Dave Pounds very powerfully showed, that there are deep human experiences behind these treatments. And to make sure that in his case, he had enduring benefits from his treatment. But I don't think that's true for everybody. And I think that's very important to ensure that when psychedelics eventually become registered and part of the mental health care infrastructure, that you have proper monitoring, proper supervision, and continuing education of therapists. And there's a kind of tension between scaling these treatments, because the need is so huge, and between maintaining a quality of treatment and ensuring that therapists are trained and supervised properly. And finally, I think what's been interesting to notice is that a lot of these investments for the better part of the past 2 decades have been through philanthropists. And in the past 2, 3, 4 years, most of the investments in research have come from private investors. And I think eventually, if we want these treatments to become part of the public health, we need public investments as well. And these require, in order to make sure that these are implemented properly in the healthcare system, we need broad coalitions. And I think the example of PAREA is a really beautiful one of the different parties involved in such coalitions.
Thank you very much, Joost. And I believe that PAREA can take a decision to nominate you as a guardian angel to safeguard also us from and let's say we should also learn from your experience in making sure that we strike the right balance in the approach. So thank you for contributing this experience.